Okay, I'm starting the Emergency Measures Operations Committee meeting at 6:05. Today's meeting, we're going to go over the emergency plan. Chris Bringlow and Ross Needers have done some revisions, and we're going to kind of talk about those. And yeah, so I'm going to pass it over to them because they're the ones that are kind of going to spearhead this one.
Okay, so since our last meeting, I would like to just recap the work that Ross and I have done and bring us up to speed to where we are and hopefully a path forward from here. So at the June meeting, we agreed, Ross and I agreed to review and revise the body of the emergency plan, to come up with a new draft, and to receive comments from the committee and incorporate those comments as well as our work into revising a draft. So we did not receive comments other than just basic phone numbers, things like that. We didn't receive comments of substance from anybody on the committee. So we just simply forged ahead on our own, doing the best we could. During that process, we discovered a couple of critical documents that are really key to this process. The first document that we came across was the bylaw. It's bylaw 05-2014, which was amended in May of 2022. Mm-hmm. So that bylaw was complete news to us. I'd been on the committee since February of 2022. This was amended in May of 2022. Never heard of it. Since I've come to the committee, I've been wondering, I've been trying to sort out in my head what our role is. I've asked a few times, but never got a clear answer. But we come to find out in this bylaw, it's clearly spelled out what this committee does and the roles and responsibilities of this committee and beyond. It speaks of some powers of council and mayor and all that. So this document is key to the revision of the plan. The other document that we found was the EMO template, which is provided by EMO for folks like us, committees around the province, I assume, that are developing municipal emergency plans. And so that document was valuable too, because a lot of the wording is cut and paste from that document and into our document. We didn't follow it exactly, but I think the essence is the same, just a different format, but the key wording is all there. So it is a little bit, we did wonder why were we never made aware of the bylaw as a committee. We should have been made aware of that. Anyhow, we did complete our draft, and we've got it here to discuss. We can proceed further, but we need some feedback and some approval from the committee and from the administration on some points in here. And what we've done, we put together the points in the document that we can cover. We're not going to go through the plan line by line. I can tell you in the plan there's a lot of blue highlighting. Those are changes that we made. There's some yellow highlighting that was retained, and some of that is yours, Sherry, from previously. And there's other points that we need. I think we'll touch on them as we go through the document. We need some clarification on. There's some real key points there. So we'll go through that. The other thing at the June meeting I just want to state again is that there was a commitment that Appendix 1 and 2 would be worked on and brought to this meeting. And we could use that information because we still do feel that some of the contact information is critical to this document. Mm-hmm. Nothing has been provided on that, so I don't know what we'll do there. You haven't received anything either?
I haven't, no.
If necessary, we'll go ahead and do that part as well.
Okay.
So I think what we want to do now, and I guess I did mention prior to the meeting, and I want it on the record that we did, you sent out a request after, when we started the draft, Sherry, that this document not be shared with anybody beyond the committee until we were ready to share it. it came to our attention that this document was shared with Dan DeCleva of EMO. We think that was inappropriate because it wasn't ready to be shared. Having said that, Dan has had a look at it. He would like to get together with us, and we are prepared to do that if we get the go-ahead from the committee at this meeting. So we'll walk through has everybody got a copy of the points?
Yep.
Get the wrong version.
No. Find it again, Sherry.
I think I can find it. I had to connect to the Wi-Fi, but I think I'm good. I've got it in my Google Drive.
That's got the TV.
Just your points that we're talking about.
Oh, okay, thank you. Yeah.
And put on.
That's the
Where's
points.
yours?
Okay,
Do you
I'm gonna
have
see if
one?
I get a copy of the latest
Do you need one?
version.
Okay.
I can share with someone.
You can share with me if you want.
Minimize that, I guess. Here we go.
Okay.
Okay, so I've got the points up on the screen that we want to talk about, and some of you may have a hard copy of them, but the first thing that we want to talk about is just to clarify some terms, because the bylaw and the EMO template use terms and some wording that we have to be consistent with. So the plan we're working on is defined as actually it's called the Emergency Measures Plan. That's the term that is used. So that's the term that we're going to use. You see some different references through the documents, but in the definition, it's called the Emergency Measures Plan. Our committee is called the Emergency Measures Organization Committee. That's clearly stated in the bylaw. I think we've called it different things over time, but that's the proper name for the committee.
So on that, can we rename the committee to make sure it's always the EMO committee?
Whatever is in the bylaw should be throughout the document.
Yeah, EMO committee is.
So that's going to be our official name from now on?
Yep.
The council chambers, when it's operationally used for an emergency, is called the Emergency Operations Center, which that's the term that we've been using anyway, like in our planning. The next term is a term that was new to us. The person responsible for oversight of the duties to implement the emergency measure plan is called the Emergency Measures Coordinator, the EM Coordinator. And that's a term, a position that we have to discuss as a group here so we understand, because it's relevant to the plan. We've always spoke of an EOC director, emergency
EOC coordinator, yeah.
Yeah, but that term is not actually used anywhere. And I think we'll get to it here in a minute, the context of that in the plan, but we need some clarification on that. The next term is a state or local emergency. I think most people are familiar with that, SOLE, state or local emergency. That can be declared by the municipality. A new term that we came up with, and we're interested to know if the group is okay with it, it's an emergency response group, ERG. And that includes all the people that are activated in the case of an emergency. It includes of course, the EM coordinator, but it also includes the mayor, the councilors, us as a committee in the EOC Center, and other critical contacts, EMO and any other agencies that are involved in the operation. So we came up with that term. So those are just some terms that we have to use. On the discussion items, I think if you do have the plan, we're going to go to, I'm going to open it up here, the draft plan, I should say. So we're on page 6. I guess we said page 6, but we just want to be clear on the approval process here. So we think we understand correctly that our committee is the first level of approval. Once we're happy with it, maybe we have to simultaneously, late in the process, work with EMO to get it cleared off. But our committee we should have the first level of approval. And when we're happy with it, then we take it to EMO for some discussion. Is that correct?
I think so, yeah.
And then when both EMO and us are happy, then we take it to council.
And council, yeah, and then they
Okay.
decide whether it's
Okay,
good.
so we're clear on that. So the stage we're at now is it should be just in the committee. But if we get approval tonight, we will start kind of a simultaneous EMO discussion as well to get their buy-in. Okay? I'm just going to record this as we go a little. Okay, the target date, Ross and I felt that it was achievable. This could possibly go to council in September, but I don't know if we're being too ambitious or not. But if there's no other input from the committee, I mean, we see the next step as consulting with EMO, and we could go directly to Dan in the days after this meeting and say, what do you think? And we see things coming together fairly quickly.
In order for me to put this on an agenda for council, it needs to be given to me the Wednesday prior to council meeting.
How long before?
The Wednesday prior.
Wednesday prior, yeah.
So if, you know, you can put that as your target date, and if it gets closer to that date and we're realizing, oh, we're not ready, let's just wait till October, no big deal. I won't put anything on an agenda until the Wednesday prior to the council meeting.
And when are the council meetings?
The third Wednesday.
Third Wednesday.
So I need all anything added to the agenda provided to me the second Wednesday.
And do you send out electronically or copies
What do I send out electronically?
to the council, like this?
Oh, yep. They need to have copies, and they would have to have a copy of the document provided to them Friday prior to council meeting, so they have the weekend and a few days to look at it.
Yeah. But does it go electronically? So they all have computers?
Yep.
And that won't be a problem. We'll have it electronic, so that's a piece of cake. The next point is amendments, and this is one that kind of came to light as we looked through the draft. There's a page in there that shows amendments. Maybe it's
Page 8.
Yeah, page 8. So we're a little confused about this page, and in our view, if we come up with a plan that goes to council and is approved, we feel we're starting from square one. So anything on here is just wiped off, and we start with maybe a line for you, Sherry, that you forwarded this. We start from square one. So then, let's say in the future, with this plan, I mean, we're not going to go back to council every few months or 6 months or a year. It might be years before we go back to council, but in between that time, there's all kinds of changes. There's people change on the committee.
Yep.
There's phone numbers change. There's email changes.
Council changes.
Council could change, I suppose. Can we get direction on whether do we need council approval for all those little changes, or can we just document them here?
I think that's how it generally runs. We're not going to run them every time we have a change. However, it could be that every couple of years we take it to council for their approval, because there could be 20 changes on here.
Okay,
Right?
so we can go in, and so we may have a document that doesn't align completely with what they approved because we've changed names.
All we're
and phone
changing,
numbers.
names and phone numbers is not, that to me is not the body of the document. That's necessary changes, because you're going to have councillors are going to leave, you're going to have staff that may leave, you're going to have committee members that are possibly leave, you're going to have businesses that are going to shut down.
Right.
All those things are changes that council's more voting on the plan, right?
Right.
The little tiny amendments, I don't think that really is necessary.
Can we go with that?
We can, unless I can get you an alternate answer, that's what we'll go with, but I'm gonna have to check on that first.
We're gonna go with that unless you give us an alternate
Yeah.
answer.
Would it not make sense to just put a little brief comment to that point that if you're just changing a name or an address or a phone number, like a couple of examples, and not changing any process or content, that we would not go to council. If we were changing process, procedures, or content's probably not the right word, but then we would go and have an official
Right.
Yeah.
revision
I
done or
think
approval.
we actually embedded wording in
Is
the
there?
plan to state that.
Yeah, but the problem is the bylaw. The bylaw says any changes must go to council. The definition is any changes.
Maybe we need,
So-
maybe we need to define what a change is.
Yes.
Put a definition of a
Which
change.
is what you were getting at,
Right,
is
that's,
small things
Right.
are not changes,
You
they're
let-
But if
modifications.
they have- Okay, you're right on.
You let me take that to council first and see exactly what their thoughts are on those changes, because,
Because every committee must have that problem.
But if we state.
no,
in
because
the
every committee
plan-
does, no, committees don't do
Every doesn't have
documents.
a plan.
No, we don't, there's no
I
plans,
like
right?
the term modifications as opposed to change. So maybe that's where the issue lies, like modify a document versus change a document.
Right, because you're not really changing it, you're just,
Yeah.
you're amending certain parts of it, you're not doing a complete change, which is, for me, completely different.
Yeah, but it's the freaking bylaw.
Well, but if they approve the plan, and in
And
the
then
plan
it
it
says-
states that we can change.
We can make amendments.
Amendment,
Minor
By
amendments,
this
then they've approved the process for us to do that.
and it should very specifically state, we can make minor amendments to, anything other than procedure, because procedure we cannot change without having any kind of approval from council. We can't change, if you decide to move the EOC to a boardroom, that has to go through council. If you want to, like, so, but if you want to change somebody's name, if you want to add an address, if you want to add a phone number, those are all minor changes that you expect to change over time. So make sure that if you can clarify that,
So if we can define that as the modifications.
Right.
And so we can work on
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think if we just work the right wording and they approve the plan, that gives us authority to make minor changes.
Right.
Of the
That's what
plan.
Mike was saying.
because I mean, this is something we should, like, if we have a new committee member, it should be updated automatically. Instead of waiting, do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
That's what I'm saying, so when new council comes in,
that. Yeah, and that's the exact issue.
And we shouldn't-
That it's going to be online. You're going to be able to make the changes, but you're not going to be able to go through council for that, for the modification.
right, modifications, let's use that word.
An updating of the modifications.
Yeah. Yeah, so I will just clarify that, but I'm pretty sure that kind of makes sense to me, we'll see, but
unless they wanna see and approve
every change, that just
I
seems
is
like,
dotted and
And
T
if
is
they
crossed.
It's a lot of work.
They
It's
don't
going to
wanna
be
see
going to
that.
them every month.
yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. If you can get guidance on that, but we're gonna go unless we hear
Yeah.
otherwise. We're gonna change, make sure the wording is in the bylaw to allow that. Items 5 and 6.
Page 10.
5, 6. Yeah, there just seems to be, and this wording, okay, it's on the screen there now, items 5 and 6. There just seems to be a little contradiction here, maybe we don't worry about it. This wording is pretty much cut and paste from the EMO template.
Yeah,
And in 5, it states that the mayor and deputy mayor are ultimately responsible for control of all the operations mentioned in this plan. That's kind of a motherhood statement that I assume applies to almost everything that happens in the
Yes,
municipality,
yeah.
right? But then in 6, it goes on to state that this plan may be implemented in full or in part by the mayor or the emergency measures coordinator. So it's almost saying, if you just took out some wording there, it would state that the plan may be implemented by the emergency measures coordinator. It almost seems like they have sole power to do the same thing that's stated above. It just seems like a little contradiction.
One says responsible and the other one says implemented. So there's two
Yeah,
different,
well, yeah,
like there's a difference between being the responsible person for something that's happening under you. Ultimately, if something fails, goes
Yeah.
wrong, whatever, you're responsible. But you can delegate other people under you, like this is a work structure, to implement
right.
things.
Well, maybe we go with that and just not get hung up on it. You weren't real hung up on it, but it just seemed like a contradiction. But you're probably right, Evelyn. I mean, just those two words in themselves.
they're different, yeah.
They're different, and
Yeah.
maybe we don't get hung up on it. Are we okay with that?
I'm okay with that. I think if this was on the emergency measures organization template, I'm pretty sure it's been vetted by legal and all that kind of stuff. It was provided,
Yeah,
right?
it just, I mean, when you start reading it line for line, sometimes something catches in, that
Yep.
caught us. But anyway, okay, we'll go with that. I think we're okay. Item 19, and this is a big one. Ross and I talked a lot.
Is that on page 19 or on another?
It's item 19 in the plan.
Oh, on the plan, okay.
So, I don't know why we're kind of jumping back and forth there, but,
We were happy.
Page 20.
yeah, page 20. It's just that we want to, this is about emergency communications. It's not about the fan out within the EOC. It's about the public, letting the public, making the public aware of a disaster in progress. And I don't think we have to look any further than what happened down in Nova Scotia with the fires. And if you've been following the post-mortem on that, it was a big problem in the early stages. There was real problems with alerting, even of the key people that were involved in
Right.
in it, but also the public.
Yeah.
And we do think that, and then they just had another tragedy down
The
there.
water.
God only knows what's going to come out of that.
Yeah, with the water.
I mean, we really feel that that's an area of the plan that we really have to beef up or be well aware of. We don't feel that the Voyant system, there's major gaps in that. I mean, and even if you combine Voyant and the social media platforms, I guess you're getting pretty good coverage. Maybe that's as good as you can get.
I'm not sure how else you can do it.
Yeah, probably that's it. But
Like, it comes to a point when residents have to be responsible for their own safety.
Yeah.
They need to buy into these programs. They need to
Yeah.
buy, and it's free. They're free programs. Voyant Alert is a free program. You need to buy into it. You need to follow the social media pages. You need to be responsible for your own safety. And we can, aside from going door to door to the 70, however many houses are in this area, I don't know what else we can do to make people
No.
take responsibility for their own
yeah, I
awareness.
as it is, I think you're probably right. I don't think there's any other systems. I think the social media probably gets more people than Voyant does.
If people would sign up for Voyant, it would be a very useful tool.
Yeah, absolutely.
If they would
We
sign
all-
up for it.
We all agree on that.
It's even more useful than social media.
But it's not there right now, and if we get into a mess, some kind of a disaster, it's not gonna reach everybody.
No, and social media will be our first
Yeah.
platform. It
So,
will be.
okay, the other side of this though is, those are the tools, but we have to make sure that they're used too. So you guys as staff will be responsible, and I'm sure
yeah.
you would be.
Yeah,
But I guess we just want to emphasize how important it is. This is a really important part of the plan, the communications to the residents. And not only that, we're proposing an appendix in the plan that includes some vulnerable facilities
yep,
that would assist in this too, because there's a school right next door. I'm sure that they would be well aware. They've got other systems.
They
that are
do,
alerting
yeah.
them. But there are some senior homes, some homes for disabled. There could be daycares and other vulnerable places where we want to make absolutely sure they're aware. And so we felt that we wanted to beef up the plan a little bit in the appendix, just to list some of those, to make sure after you do your social media and Voyant calls, to say, okay, let's make absolutely sure that these people are aware too.
absolutely, yeah.
So it's just another tool, or
Yeah.
another group of people that we just want to make absolutely sure.
Yeah, I agree.
We did send out a bunch of pamphlets for Voyant for all the kids to take in the book bags as well. We sent them to
At
the
the
school.
school?
Yeah.
So we had about 150 more applicants for Voyant.
From Voyant? Okay,
Yeah.
From that
very good.
one mail out. So we'll do it again in
Right.
September.
Right.
And we'll do it at Kings Clear Community School. We'll do it there as well
Oh,
in September.
Clear
Or
Community.
what's it called now? Kings Clear?
That's in Silverwood.
Yeah.
That's it.
But there's still, our residents go to that school.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we have to make sure that school also has the pamphlets for the Voyant Alert.
And also there's there's that outdoor school. They're gonna have another school there this year,
Cedar Brook?
Cedar Brook, yeah.
Okay,
They're
so,
building another school right behind it,
Where's that?
Cedar Brook out by us.
That's in the city, but,
No, it isn't.
yes it is, it's
Yes,
on the
it
other
is.
side of my.
then we won't worry about the city.
No, but it's a lot of our kids go there.
But do kids if kids from Island View go to that school, then we have to target that school.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
and then
Right?
a
Yep, then we would target them.
But then we have to look at George Street, Bliss Carmen.
Yep, absolutely.
FHS.
And it doesn't, and by us putting those in there, us putting those little, and they were one-page sheets,
They were like this big.
just Boyne Alert, exactly what it was.
Yeah.
It made 100 parents sign up. So why wouldn't we?
And also Fredericton's on it too, so what if a Fredericton kid signs up?
It doesn't matter. Yeah,
Right.
we're all on the
But
same
that's good.
program.
Yeah, exactly, the more
Yeah.
people get the information,
The better. So I think that's going to
Gee,
be.
that would be,
We need
that
to
would
push that.
really expand that section if you, because you'd almost have to include every school on the south side.
Is every, well, not every school,
not-
just
but
the
a lot
ones
of
that our residents would attend. So
Yeah.
FHS, George Street, Garden Creek.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And Bliss Carmen.
Okay, well, that's part of the review process and
Yep.
we get to that section,
Yep.
so. The First Nation up here, we thought that maybe was another one too, that they're not part of Hanwell, but if we have a big fire that's rolling through Hanwell, and
That's
they're
right.
not aware of it, it'd just
They
being
need to
good
know.
neighbors.
Yep, they need to
right?
know, and
They're-
they-
They're surrounded by that.
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
Anyway.
Yep.
Okay, move on to part 3 of the plan. So if you've had the time to look at the plan, draft, I
Where's
should
part
say.
3?
Well,
Page 23.
Thank you. There we go.
yeah, this part of the plan got a complete redo.
I guess,
Wow. The whole page.
Might be a lot of blue.
it's all blue.
It's all blue, but really when we looked through it and kind of analyzed it, thought about it, it was a whole bunch of duplication. And it was just page after page of a lot of, not total duplication, but a lot of duplication. And, you know, we just don't want to fill pages to fill pages. We want every page to be meaningful. So we felt that area needed a complete redo. I guess we're open to comments. Didn't hear anything back about it, but so the first page has really got a lot of meat in it, and then the next pages go into we took out earthquake, I think. Yeah, we took out earthquake and just kind of captured it in I guess the opening statement for that section, that it's another emergency that could possibly happen, but do we really need earthquake in there? I mean, if that's not a potential that we're really concerned about, but if something like that does happen, it could be something else too.
We could have a tornado.
Yeah, we could have a tornado, but you could look to these other examples and kind of,
Modify them to fit
you know,
the
kind of
situation.
revise them to fit the situation. I mean, so we were just trying to take out,
Right.
condense it some. So anyway, we did leave in four scenarios: the storm, the forest fire, the road transportation accident, and the aircraft crash. There is a 5th scenario, water contamination, and that is specific to Birchwood subdivision.
It is specific to Birchwood, yeah.
And if there's some emergency procedures there, we would like to include them if it's appropriate in that section. Do you have a plan for, I did contact ELG and made sure that we had the right contact information, talked to the guy there. He, you know, what's on that section for Birchwood is relevant, I guess, but there's really not a lot of meat there. I mean, do you guys have a boil water contamination alert process?
Nope, because we don't do the alerting system, they do.
Yeah, there's a reference
They do
there
their
to
own alerting
another
system.
Well, there is,
organization.
but if you open
Yeah.
that up, it's just like a passive sheet for this, you know.
He goes,
It's not specific to Birchwood.
But underneath, like, they're just kind of like wiping their hands of it. They say, if you're gonna have a problem, you have to contact
Yeah,
freelance and Department of Environmental and local government.
so what, the water contamination, so what happens is, freelance, they're the ones that test the water consistent, they're the ones that run that facility. If there's an issue with their machines, whatever, they go door to door, they contact, I think there's maybe 20 residents, they contact each resident, they make sure that they know there's a boil order, they contact us, if there's a boil order, we post it on our social media, we post it on our website.
so that's the process.
That's
That's
it.
the
That's the
process we
process.
need though.
Yeah,
Uh, If you got that written out, we could include that.
I could try to write out what there is there, but most of the process is on freelance. They're the ones that do it all, and they also take down the boil
Are they
order.
contracted to the municipality?
No,
or
we
to
don't,
who?
that's a province. That's all the provincial government. That, the water treatment system is not our, it's PNB.
So if there's a boil water order, is it up to Hanwell to it's not Hanwell's responsibility to do that?
It's not, however, we do it. If Freelance calls us and lets us know, because sometimes he doesn't, if he lets us know that there's a boil order, then we will do it.
Do what?
We post on, we post, he'll send us his boil order notice. We post that to social media directly to the residents of Birchwood and just those 2 streets. And we'll just contact the number if you have any other further questions, because we can't answer those questions. We can't tell them how long it's going to be. We can't tell them what the issue is. Freelance can. So we're more like
You just communicate.
we're just like a communication.
So this seems like it's an ideal time. You say there's 20 residents?
I don't know how many there are, to be honest. It's not our.
50?
I don't know.
It seems like an ideal time for all of them to be on Voyant, then you just need to whack it.
And that's exactly what we would do. But again, you can't force people to go on Buoyant. They all,
Well, can you tell that water guy to say, get everybody on board?
we can tell them to recommend it.
Ask them.
Absolutely, yeah. We can get him to recommend it. He has every email from everybody in that area, because that's what and he also emails. So he emails it. He sends out, he goes door to door and puts the notices. And then he'll email when it's back to get back on, or when the boil order's finished, and then he'll hand out notices. So I can write something like a procedure down,
Well, I mean, we
But-
gotta be a little careful of owning something
because
that
it's
we
not
don't
ours.
own.
We don't. It's
But
province of
if
New Brunswick.
If we have responsibility, I think it's gotta be in here, but if we don't have responsibility,
No.
we gotta be careful about owning something we
Yeah.
don't own.
Right.
The water treatment plant at Birchwood is owned by the province of New Brunswick.
Really?
Yeah,
That's-
that's their.
How did that happen?
I don't know. We have nothing to do with it.
That happened.
They pay the
before
province.
Hanwell was even an incorporated
Yep.
little community.
They must have bad water or something.
No, they pay the province. They do whatever they need to do.
Roland.
When that subdivision was created or built, the developer, I don't know who the developer was at the time, but got provincial approval to build those 1/4 acre or small lots and provide water and sewage service in lieu of the 3/4 or 1 acre size lot that was the standard of the day.
I always thought that was for sewer, not for water.
No, it's their water.
The acre lot was for sewer.
No, it's for water too, I think.
But they have both sewer and water in that
Oh, they got
subdivision.
sewer.
They have both.
Okay.
So that's why they're allowed to, or were allowed to do what they
Because they had
have
a
there
plant,
now.
And then the plant,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, once the developer builds a subdivision, sells the lots,
he walks away.
well, they just clean their hands up and walk away from it.
All right.
And then the province gets stuck holding the bag and maintaining it going forward.
And to this point, it does not belong to us. Not saying it's not going to happen, but to
Right.
this point, it does not.
So maybe
Okay,
we should
we've gotta
just
be a
take it out
little
as a
careful
scenario
there.
then. To avoid confusion.
Yes.
Was that in there previously?
No, it looked similar to what is on the screen. It's just that
Yeah, I think it was.
we thought maybe there is more to this. I didn't talk directly to Freelance Environmental, although I know the guy that worked, the name that was here before for the Department of Environment, that name, he now owns Freelance.
Naveed? Yeah.
He owns Freelance Environmental. So, I think that's still relevant. They
Mhm,
still
it
have
is.
that contract.
Yep.
And I did speak to ELG, and I tried to nail somebody down for a name, and they wouldn't. They said, no, you call this number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the best they could do for me.
Okay.
And anyway, so maybe this page stays.
The way it is. I think it stays the way it
It
is.
was in there as scenario number 6, water contamination.
Yeah. Just maybe just leave it as,
Yeah.
because there really isn't a procedure for us to follow. Other than we will, if we're provided with the information, we will notify.
To do so, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So, that's just one component of part 3, but we do have these other 4 scenarios which we've really condensed, and almost to the point, I think, geez, is there enough meat there to keep them? But I don't know, what do you guys think? we tried to keep these areas, before there was just a whole bunch of duplication, and now we tried to keep them reasonably unique.
They should be. I always cringe when I start to see repetition or duplication in a document like this,
Yeah.
because it just opens you up down the road for contradiction, where
Yeah.
one section will get revised, you'll forget to revise
Yeah.
the other area, and
Yeah.
now you've got two conflicting statements.
Right.
They each,
So,
yeah.
everything should only be mentioned in there once.
That's why we got that page 1, which has got a lot of meat on it.
And that's fine though. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
That's okay.
And then, so these scenarios, the 4 scenarios, we tried to keep them there is even still a little bit of duplication, but we
But-
tried to minimize it.
But there has, like, some of these scenarios are gonna have a little bit of duplication anyway. They should have their own information because they're all specific. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you're
Yeah,
not gonna
they're-
do the same things for a fire that you would necessarily do
Yeah.
for a
Yeah.
hurricane. But there are probably gonna be a little bit of duplication on what you're gonna do, right? And I think that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, do you guys feel that the direction we went, because this was a big redo, and we're still thinking about it, but do you think that this is okay, the way that we went with part 3?
I had no issue with it.
No, I'm fine.
I
Okay.
had no issue with it at all.
The photos, I know we can get in a little trouble using photos off the internet, but every photo I took, the one on the fire, that's not a very good photo, I think I have a better one. That was taken for the DNR, they won't have a problem.
No.
And the other 3 photos were taken of CBC stories, and I don't think CBC is gonna come out.
And all you will need to do is underneath put
A photo
courtesy
credit.
CBC
Yeah.
or
Photo credit.
courtesy
Not that I
DNR.
asked, but I can say that.
But you
Yeah.
can do that. You can do that courtesy. Yeah, you can do photo
Okay.
taken by.
Yeah,
Okay,
because they still have the copyright on that
Yeah.
photo, so you have to do your due diligence.
That's all you have to do is just photo provided by CBC or photo provided by DNR or
yeah.
Joe Jones or whatever it is.
Okay. I think I've got a better fire photo, I just put that in there for something.
Yeah, as long as you give them credit.
We'll be able to get some out of Nova Scotia.
Okay, so
Pictures of the Nova Scotia, they got one.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
that's part 3, we really, we need a little guidance. So, okay, well, if we're all good with the direction of that, we'd like to give a little more meat to it, but we don't want to put stuff in there just to put stuff in there.
Because then when you're going to you're reading a bunch of stuff you don't need to read.
Yeah, it just.
Well, that's the other thing. You might be trying to get through this document in like a really quick fashion or manner, so the more information you can put in point form or keep it simple,
Yeah,
you need
Yeah.
the critical information or what direction you need to go in. But yeah, well, I don't want see any extra fluff or just make it
It's not
wordy.
necessary.
yeah. I mean,
Because
that's
you could be in a situation where someone who's not overly familiar with the plan has got to sit and quickly go through, oh, I got to call Ross, or
Yeah,
like we want them to get to that decision point as fast as possible.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm
Well,
not
you're right on,
reading.
that's how we're thinking every page here
Not a novel.
should be
Yeah.
meaningful and,
Yeah,
um,
to the point.
yeah. So, okay, that's part 3, so appendix 1, which is directly after that,
Yeah.
well, this comes back to, do we continue down the road of, there was appendix 1, which was the key critical contacts, I guess if you can call them that. And then there was appendix 2, which was a long list of businesses and stuff. So I guess what we're suggesting is that appendix 1 should include the key cooperating agencies and key suppliers. There's about 25
Right.
or 30 of them.
So I'm gonna just, on this page here, the only agency for fire we deal with is Upper Kingsclear.
But what
We
if
would never contact these other people.
Oh, really? Okay.
We would never contact them.
They, Upper
We,
Kingsclear.
Upper
Upper
Kingsclear.
Kingsclear. So we would never contact Harvey Fire asking for mutual aid. That goes through the fire department.
Okay.
It would never go through us.
But
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so
we could
we,
take that out?
so it would just be, yeah,
I
it
would,
would, yeah, it would be Upper Kingsclear, and then Upper Kingsclear, they would fan out to get who they needed to provide that service.
The
Our-
only fire service we would deal directly with would be Upper
For
Kingsclear.
Kingsclear.
And then Upper Kingsclear would escalate within their reciprocal agreements or whatever they
Yeah.
have with
Right.
the neighboring
Yeah,
fire
Well,
departments.
that's good, that condenses it and takes out some stuff that we don't need in there.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah, because I
okay,
think
that-
Steve and Chief Kraus both reiterated that point at different times when they came and met with us in the last
Okay.
couple of years.
yeah, so we're
Okay,
just
so
gonna,
that, oh, that's understood, yeah, we can, that's easy cleanup. There's,
everything else
yeah,
looks
the
good
other
though.
ones, I guess, is there any other ones there that we don't need?
Who is Liberty Utilities?
That would be for the gas, natural gas.
Natural gas.
Natural gas.
Yeah. To me, it looks good.
You've got the police, you've got.
What's Canutech?
I was gonna say,
That's one of those dangerous good cleanup, I think it's a division of federal government, I think, isn't it? Ross, do you know that? It's around dangerous goods, and if there's an incident.
If UFO's trying goes on the truck and they have an
Okay.
accident, I think they're one of the people you call.
Is there a way we could put like in parentheses what exactly this is?
Yeah, we could probably.
Just kind of, or if, it may not spell out to anything, but whatever this, just kind of have a little more description of what that is.
Yeah, that's an acronym for something, yeah, okay, right on.
We had an accident one time on the highway. The guy drove off and he was in an army vehicle
Okay,
or two. And they drove off up at the exit 303. We usually take pictures of them because of the damage to the highway and everything else. We went to do it. They all came up with their guns and they said, "You can't take those pictures." And the patrolman said, "Yes, you can. It's our highway, we can take them." "No, you can't. You know, this is the secret part of the army." So I was in the insurance area at that time, so I made a claim to the base and they said, "It's not us, it's Ottawa." We got paid. So,
Okay, so that's good. So do we agree that Appendix 1, if we get it narrowed down, we'll take out those fire departments, explain Canutech, and so
Like
these are the key ones. And I took those directly off of that page 1 of Part 3.
yep, looks fine to me.
And- Yeah, okay, so that's good.
Yeah.
Appendix 2, which was the business listings, okay, I'll show you, and I don't know, Carla may have different thoughts on this, but I'm just gonna show you this. Now, I don't know how, Ross, you got this, but my understanding is that you can get this at any time in an updated
yeah.
format. It's from My Ignite Fredericton area, it's like your business development.
Okay, yep,
It's a-
That's what we used to have. for
Yeah.
appendix two.
okay.
So this is a Excel file, which we can, maybe every year we get a new file. They keep it updated, we don't even have to worry about it.
Okay,
And it's got, on this particular one, we've got Entity 62, which is Hanwell, Entity 64, which is New Maryland, Entity 65,
Oh, look at that.
which is Lincoln, Entity 69, which is actual Fredericton.
it's easier.
yep.
That's a little bit
So-
easier.
Yeah.
A little.
Yeah, that's fine, we just print that off and attach to the
Yeah,
plan.
so it's a little clunky. I've kind of played with it a little bit, but it's filtered at the top. So, for example, if you want to go into business type, and wait now, is that the right one I want to go into? Maybe where's the business?
Even if we were to use that
Okay.
as our template to make it so that because that might be hard to, like in an emergency, it's gonna be hard to print off, but you've got the document, like there's no calling people, there's no,
Well, no. Well, what it has here is the name of the company and their phone number.
yeah,
And their address. I mean, it doesn't have the key contact person, that's one piece of information that's
Right.
missing, but I don't know if you need that or not.
It
I
probably
mean-
changes depending, like.
it would change,
You don't know who's
Yeah.
on vacation.
it would change.
So let's just say you were into Hanwell and you wanted to look for, I don't know, child daycare services? I don't know if it's, so you would sort it like that.
Oh, look at that, okay.
And so you could take that off.
And that's not even all of them though.
Well, it's supposed to be, and I wondered about that. There's gotta be more daycares than that.
There's a big one on the
But
Hamwell.
there's a bunch missing.
There's a whole, like,
See the rows?
Well, yeah, but
Oh,
that's,
that's it, yeah, they're all.
Yeah,
there.
that one, no, the one right on the Hamwell, it's a house. Little Munchkins is not there. That's one of the biggest daycares in Hamwell.
okay, so.
So it's not accurate, right?
It may, that is a bit of concern, like, what else, would be motor vehicle repair? Well, let's go up to the top first. You gotta deselect them, and then you gotta go down if you wanna be specific. Motor vehicle repair in Hanwell. Is that everybody?
That looks pretty accurate to me. Actually, ones I didn't even know about. There's a lot of them, eh?
Is that,
They're only good for up close.
So one problem with this, some of them are,
oh, that guy, what's his name?
Like,
Matt.
so, in order for this, so do the people have to subscribe to this? Like the businesses, how did,
I don't know how Ross got this.
like
but-
how did the businesses get on here? Like, do you know how that works?
I think Ignite goes after them. I think they research it out.
Okay.
Because it's part of their inventory of
I just
what they
find-
do for the business.
I just find it strange they've missed daycares. It's weird to me.
Yeah, well, that is a little worrisome that there's at least,
There's also a daycare at the school.
Yeah, there's one up in our area too.
Yeah.
but having
We
said
can
that,
ask them.
this-
Probably don't have a big thing on daycare. Like, I don't know what it is.
And maybe-
Well, we could find that out, but we think this is more accurate than what we've currently been using.
It's-
well,
it's-
ours, yeah, the one we currently maintain would be out of date too. And there's
By
no
a
doubt
year.
this one probably out of date, but I tell you, sometimes it's the way you ask the question, because there's so many categories here.
Right.
I'm wondering if it's,
Maybe he said something else.
It might have been put into some, I can't imagine how that could go into
After
anything
school
else. but,
care, maybe? Instead of daycare?
Childcare?
If we use that information, printed it out and use it as an appendix or a section of our plan.
Yeah.
Would it make sense to, wherever you put the information in our plan, just note what the URL or like the web address is to that document? So in an emergency, if you're in here and you're looking for something, you know the organization of the business exists, but for some reason it's not on the list, or you can't find it in the category you think it is on the list, in the document, you could at least jump on to the internet and
Well-
do what you're doing there now.
well-
Well, we have that on the Hamwell server.
We don't
You just
envision
pick
this
that.
as part of the
Fine.
plan at all. We just envision this as not necessary to include businesses in any part of the emergency plan, because really when you look at a template for an emergency plan, no, I mean, unless it's a critical
It's a
There-
tool.
yeah.
agency, you don't include businesses.
No, but there are certain businesses we should include in the plan.
But if you
businesses-
have this as just on a stick or as a file, yeah, I mean, it's an electronic file, we can
Right.
send to you.
Yeah.
And in an emergency, instead of having something in a plan, well, where's that file?
Right. Yeah.
You know, instead of having this as part of the plan.
We could. Yeah, I agree. But there are like a lot of those businesses are not going to be relevant during an emergency. But
Yeah.
if we have to
Yeah.
solicit, a bulldozer for some reason, it might be nice to know who has bulldozers. If we have to solicit, give me some idea, like,
Well, let's find a bulldozer.
you know what I mean? Like,
Well, I mean, you've got Brandt Equipment and Case, like you've got those guys, and there's some contractors that reside in this area that would have equipment.
so I'm thinking like in order, and boats. So if you need to access me with a boat. So that's why I'm thinking like some of these, there should be something on the plan, and I know just
Just,
to easily access, okay, these seven businesses we can get, if we need to get 4 bulldozers, we can contact these without having to try to search to find a number in a
Maybe categorize it by potential need.
like,
and
but
then
like,
the businesses
so there's certain
under that.
needs, we're gonna, like, we may need a bulldozer.
Food,
Food is another one, like, what are the
Fuel.
different restaurants, like, there's certain things we'll need in emergency, we don't wanna have to,
We have fuel on the.
yeah, perfect.
yeah, because we're gonna wanna make sure we can access that.
yeah.
during an emergency, right? You don't wanna
How
have to
far
be.
do you go with it?
I don't know where you draw the line, that's the problem with it.
So this may need further debate.
Well,
The old appendix two didn't accomplish that.
didn't,
No, it didn't, and I think we need to find a way to make it work.
But I guess I keep coming back to, no template for an emergency plan has that. I mean, if we feel strongly that boats are something that we need, maybe we need to include it in appendix 1, which is the
Key critical.
key, you know, the key.
But that would, like when you initiate your emergency response, you do have time to identify what you need for the emergency response. And then
True.
you have time to locate who's gonna meet those needs. It's not gonna be like in the first stage.
That's right, yeah.
That you're going to say, okay.
So we're probably
What do I
okay.
need? We have to get together as a committee that's responding to the emergency to decide what you need, and then somebody on the committee is designated to go and
figure that
call
out.
around.
Right,
And the people in this room have a fair amount of experience.
and knowledge, yeah,
We've got a heavy-duty equipment dealer up by the fire department.
right,
Who's
yeah,
got all kinds of equipment in the backyard,
yeah,
you know. and-
okay,
And, you know, and people in their yards got backhoes.
yeah.
So if you need.
And everybody's got a phone and you can Google stuff.
Yeah, that's right,
what
that's
I'm
right.
thinking.
So maybe it's not necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in this case, if we want it as a reference, maybe all it is just where is it located so I can go and look at it.
But I do think Mike's right. I think there should be we should have the URL for that document, which is, it's a,
I don't know if I can get that.
you don't need to get
We
that?
got that document, it's in Excel. You can create your own here.
I could probably create a PDF document
Yeah.
that I can put onto the Hamwell website.
Yeah,
Geez.
well, you could
You'd have to
put
be
it
a little
on for
careful with
access for
Ignite
us.
though, wouldn't you? Like, this is Ignite's property.
Yeah, I can
So-
ask them.
How do we, so you got this, okay. Okay, why don't we just, we're gonna
They
put a
send
pin,
it to me quite freely.
we'll put a pin in this for now. We'll figure it out after, I
Well,
think.
we'll research it out and see if we can get on their URL.
Or if they
And
have,
then
or
it's
they,
always up to date.
Right, well, that's really beneficial to us, if they would allow us just access to the URL, and if we have to sign some confidentiality agreement or non-disclosure agreement as a group or
I don't,
comes,
I
you know.
think we could talk our way into this.
Right, that would be great if we could do that and reference, just so we could note the URL or whatever, so that if you're here, and
Then you just go in and look it up.
You just
As
go in and
long as
look it
you
up,
got Excel
exactly.
on your computer, you're okay.
I wonder
Yeah.
if they've got it on a URL, or if it's just they keep it in an Excel file.
I'll find out.
but yeah, just.
Yeah,
find
just
out.
find
That's
out.
an item for me,
yeah,
I'll
find out.
Okay.
We can-
We'll put something,
Yeah.
but I think we agree, we don't want an appendix.
No, I don't think we need
That's,
that.
that's 16 pages long.
No, it's
Yeah,
just,
no.
really, like this plan, it's nice and light. Like the other one was
Yeah,
quite
well, there
heavy.
was a lot of fluff in it before.
Yeah, so I
and-
think
And
it's-
the businesses, to be honest, 16 pages of businesses that
Yeah.
are mostly irrelevant.
Most of them are gone, a lot of them are gone too, so,
And a maintenance nightmare.
yeah.
If somebody's gonna maintain something, let Ignite do it, I guess, or,
Absolutely.
it's just, to me, and I'm just one person, but I just thought that was
No, I
complete
agree.
fluff.
I agree with you.
But
Okay.
anyway,
Yeah.
maybe there's another solution, so you're gonna check with,
I'll check that out. So we're number nine now.
Item 12, under
yeah, number
powers.
9, yeah, the director, yeah, I guess it's, we're coming back to something here, I'm on item 9 now. and,
Responsibilities?
Goes
Yeah,
back to item 12.
it's item 12 actually in the
Oh.
document.
The
Item
reason
12.
it's afterwards is because that's when we found the animal bylaw, I think.
Oh, declaration of state emergency, that's done by the mayor.
Yeah,
but-
well, I guess maybe under item 12, under powers, yeah, well.
Powers,
I
oh,
guess if
here.
you look at
I
the
think
bottom
it's
of
page
powers,
13.
okay.
Yes.
We keep coming back to this issue there on page 13 near the bottom, there's a yellow highlight there. It's this terminology. If we cut and pasted, this blue here is a cut and paste from the bylaw.
Okay,
And that's where it's got EM coordinator, it states Director of Emergency Operations Center. It's the only time that
Yeah,
term is
it's a
used,
mystery
it's not
term.
defined anywhere. We think that probably means the EM coordinator, right? Almost like to insert that in there, but we don't want to contradict the bylaw. But it kind of brings us back to this question, who is the emergency measures coordinator?
The CAO,
Are they?
yes.
Because
Where's
if you
that
go to the
defined?
bylaw, I'm just gonna show you the bylaw is not 100% consistent with that. Here's the bylaw here, and,
The definition of emergency measures coordinator was at the top. There was a definition at the top for what the emergency measures coordinator was.
well, it doesn't get, okay, emergency measures coordinator means a person responsible for the oversight of the technical administrative duties, okay.
So that is the-
And we've got that
Yeah.
in our document, but then if you go down here, this is kind of odd. When you go down to our organization, this
Yeah.
defines our organization, our committee. It says the EMO committee, hereinafter called the EMO committee,
Yeah,
shall be appointed by council to consist of the clerk
yeah,
or senior management member.
right, would be Terry, so
Well,
CAO.
so is Terry head of this?
Terry is the head of it, yes, Terry is the head.
Because it doesn't say and, it says or.
Or, so I'm not the head. Terry's the head of the CAO, or
So-
head of the EMO committee.
Okay, so this is important because you're saying that she is the head of our committee? So she's going to continue to be the head of our committee?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Not, because it states here the clerk or senior management member. Okay, you're
Yep.
saying it's Terry.
Yep.
She's a CAO. Okay, because that is critical to this document because there's numerous places in the document we weren't sure
Yeah.
whether.
It's the CAO. The CAO will be, because again, remember, there's lots of places that don't have CAOs. So we just, and I'm thinking when we did this back in 2022, we didn't have a CAO. So revisions probably have to be made to this anyway. This was done prior to January 2023 when all the changes happened with the reform, right? So if we have to make changes to this to make it more clear, then that's something we'll have to do.
Okay.
Because when we made these changes, we were not, that vision wasn't even in our,
Okay, well, here's the chart. This is critical, this chart here. I mean, and what you had in there before, Sherry, was the fan out included basically the council. But we've changed it to include the council and us.
that's the way it should be,
Okay.
right, like that. And like, so the EM coordinator
Yeah,
fans out, so the EM coordinator would be the one that would contact the committee, which is exactly the way it's supposed to be.
yeah.
The EM coordinator would contact the mayor. The mayor would then actually, I think, deal with the councilors. Not,
So should this line,
I think the mayor should, like, there should be a direct line from the mayor down to the councilors.
oh, okay,
Do you know what I mean?
all right.
That's how I perceive it. The EM coordinator would not be talking to councilors.
But should the EM coordinator have CAO in brackets
Yes.
afterwards?
Yeah.
Or, no, because it may not be the CAO, because maybe in 10 years there's not one. We have to keep, we should be keeping things broad, like, the EM coordinator could be the CAO or it could be a clerk. It says clerk and or, so I think just, you need to keep it,
It's a little, yeah. See, I got us down into the EMO committee down here, which I had you in there as the head of the committee.
I'm not
But
the
you're
head.
saying that you're not really the head.
I'm a
So-
committee member.
Okay, so Terry is both the EM coordinator and the head of the committee.
Yes.
So she's gonna contact herself in a way, okay.
Well,
You know,
she would be the
I'll-
first, like, somebody
okay.
has to be the first contact.
yeah.
It's gonna be the head of the,
Yeah.
yeah,
I can fix it up.
yeah.
So you're saying the line should go from the mayor and the mayor contacts the
Yes.
councilors?
Yes. That would be my understanding of it, yeah.
Okay. And the rest of it is good?
Yes.
Okay, and the critical contacts, that will depend
Police,
on
fire.
what type of an emergency it is.
Yep.
So going back to page 13, item number 12,
Page 13?
where it says Director of the Emergency Operations Center,
Where am I looking?
page 13,
Yeah,
item 12.
I don't see item 12 on page 13.
no.
Well, it's the date page before.
Are you looking at what's on the screen there? Or what are you looking at?
We just looked at it a minute ago. Yeah, right here.
Oh, okay, okay.
For the duration, the council may appoint another person deemed by the Director of Emergency Operations Center are we okay to put that there
Yes,
and say, really, that person is that person?
Yeah.
yes.
Even though the bylaw says that person, that doesn't, never exists.
Because Director of Emergency Operations isn't even defined in the bylaw or anywhere. That's the only place it's mentioned, so we'd like
Until you
to.
change the bylaw, I think.
Okay,
we
you
have
know
to go
what,
with
just underline that or bold it, like not really bold it, make it so that it sticks out. And I'm gonna talk to Terry about that one.
I'll,
Like do something, make it, stick it out.
Because either the bylaw changes or our plan changes it.
what am I doing there?
And we're not trying to contradict the.
No, I know,
we're
I
just
get
trying to
that.
clarify.
We're
Yeah.
just looking for clarification.
It should be the same throughout.
Yeah, we don't want a new something.
No, we just have to, no, if you can just highlight that for me, and then,
No, I tried.
well, what's the last one here? I'll just circle it here.
Yeah, I definitely get your, I know what you're trying. How do I back up on this thing? Can I go back?
You can just use your, edit, go to the top edit. Very top edit,
Yeah.
and then click undo.
No,
Oh, it's not letting you.
Not letting me.
Well,
Is it locked for?
Anyway, I made a mess here, but that's all right. This is just a mistake.
that's fine,
anyway.
okay, yep, so I've got a little note here to talk to Terry about
Okay.
that.
Correct.
It must be
So-
PDF.
The point is that that term is not used anywhere in the bylaw or the EMO template, so we'd just like to. get
And
rid
so
of that.
where was this director of emergency, was this something we put in there?
It's in the bylaw.
It was in the bylaw, and
It's in our bylaw.
the bylaw is not all that clean. It uses terms interchangeably, but we wanted to stick with the definitions and generally what's used throughout the document. But that just come out of nowhere. That's the only place that's used.
Okay.
Anyway.
No, I will,
So Chris, I'll give you a break, I'll take over here.
Yeah.
Just
sure.
number 10.
Appendix two?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so this is my particular one. I'm concerned about vulnerable people, and I'm thinking of back again from the Nova Scotia issue and stuff like that. As a preventative maintenance, or as part of our committee, is anybody ever gathering information about people that can't leave their house as easily as I can? You know, and therefore when the fire department says evacuate an area, or, you know, we say evacuate, they know, oh, house number 6 and house number 13 both need special equipment to get the people out, or whatever. It's not a senior citizen's home, it's a home. Like, I got a guy 2 doors up that I look after.
okay,
He would have a real difficulty in an emergency, A, understanding there's an emergency, and B, getting out of the house.
Yeah.
And
So-
the same with down at the end of our street.
how do you propose to identify those individuals?
Again, this is not part of the plan, but I think it's part of our duty, is why can't we have Voyant, or can Voyant identify those individuals if
No.
we put that information in?
There's no, I'll have to look, I don't know that I don't know if that's capability it has.
Well, it's something that maybe we should look into, but it almost seems like if the fire department's going to do their job, which is evacuate everybody from an area, and I look at that thing that we did, that scenario that we did here, and we said we were evacuating part of Eaglewood, that's great for us to go up and knock on the door, and you find I can't get that person out.
But the fire department,
But the fire department, again, that's,
That-
we would contact the fire department, make that request.
Right, but
Then they deal with those.
But, so then I asked the question, does the fire department have a list of vulnerable people?
well, there's no way to have a list of vulnerable people unless those people give us that information, like there's,
Is there a way to get that information into us or the fire department?
I don't,
think it's a privacy issue.
it's they would have, people would have to make it known, they'd have to make it known, but they're
Okay,
not,
but I'm
right?
just saying that I think that's a lack of stuff in our plan, that we are going to get caught in an emergency with people can't get out of their house because, A, we're not aware of it.
If the fire department's doing an emergency evacuation, they will go to every single door and they will have the capabilities of getting those people out.
Even if they need special care.
Yes, they will figure a way to do it.
Well,
I'm
they'll,
uncertain on that.
well, I would have a high degree of confidence in them, I mean, with all their training and expertise,
Yeah.
that if
They're constantly doing lift assists with
Okay,
in
right.
New Brunswick.
Yeah.
So if you look out west with all those evacuations that are happening out there, and there's tens of thousands of them,
Yeah.
the priority should be to help those that can't help themselves.
Yeah.
And how do we get that information to the fire department? That's all that item is. I don't think we can use it in the plan, but I think we
they
need
call
it as part
911 if
of us to think about.
Yeah, but like as for identifying facilities,
Yeah.
that is very easy. That we can do, and then you've
Yeah,
got,
facilities
that's
is
very easy, but identifying an individual is going to be very complicated.
Well, and it's gonna be a moving target, it's gonna change
Yeah,
constantly
Oh, yeah.
over time.
But I mean, the fire department's called constantly to do lift assists. They have the equipment to do what they need to
Right.
do to remove
Okay.
people from.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm just concerned,
Yeah.
right? Like,
No.
I could see us sitting here and saying, oh, frig, we forgot about them.
But it's not going to be us doing the
Now they're
evacuating.
burned.
Maybe there's another way
Wow.
too to communicate that we, on an ongoing basis, that we have to take care of our neighbors. I know.
Exactly. You
My
know-
neighborhood,
yeah.
I know there's 3 or 4 people like you are just stating around me. I know in the winter when we lost power for 12 hours, I did check on them.
Yeah.
And you would think that neighbors would do that if they knew there was somebody close by.
Yeah.
But
And-
maybe we communicate, please check on your neighbors.
Exactly.
Do
Maybe
that
that's-
all the time. Like you see on any social media, that's what they're telling you to do during heat waves, or please check on your neighbors.
And maybe that's what we need to do. We need to do a communication boost every little while and just make sure.
And maybe if there is a registry of these, then maybe there's a place to register that. That's why I was thinking of Voyant,
I don't think, Voyant is not that specific with that information. It takes your name, your phone number.
All right, number 11, photos. I think, I'm not sure Chris thinks the same way, I think he does. We thought we could put an appendix in there as well and show the 3 fire stations,
Yep.
show this room, show the area, show Yoho, show
Yeah.
some other stuff.
With the
as-
warming stations and stuff?
Yeah, as saying, these are what we have in mind.
Yep.
Um,
St. James Church is another one.
Yeah, any of that stuff that we have, if we get the photos.
Yeah.
And you say St. James Church,
They're also a warming center by time.
and they have emergency power? Do they have emergency power?
No. No, but in order for a business to have emergency power to be a warming center, because they're not on this, it's not on the same grid. So you might have, let's just say power goes out in that side of the road. St. James will be able to be a warming center for the people. Like it wouldn't be like during a huge emergency. There's only 3 places you can go to get power. Here, Station 1, Upper Kingsclear, and either Yoho or the fire hall here. It's going to depend on where the generator is. So if
Depending on what?
the generator, there's one generator that's shared between from this station and Yoho, which is because Yoho is not on the same grid as us. So if Yoho needs it, that's where it'll be, and that's where the warming shows. We would never, I don't think, in any kind of situation, have to open every single warming center at the same time. It would have to be a really huge catastrophe, I think, to have to open them all, that everybody would be off at the same time.
That big ice storm we had a couple of years ago,
Yeah,
every warming center that I knew of
it was
was
open, and then we'd have to open them. But people don't have to travel too. That's the thing. You might have to travel to a warming center, and it just.
Okay, emergency
So
response.
just to stop for a second, the ones that are on the screen, are those actual?
They
warming
are.
cen-
They can be, yes. They can be used as warming centers.
So that St. James Presbyterian Church?
Yeah, Hamilton Community. Yeah,
Okay, so what's there is accurate?
what's there is accurate. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have station 1, station 2, our building, Scout Lodge? Yeah.
Which church is St. James?
So St. James is the little white one. Almost next to there's a building with the big wooden building. I think there's a business in it. St. James, and then Hamilton Community is further close to Deerwood.
It's on Deerwood.
Oh, sorry, it's on Deerwood. The big white one
Oh,
is.
right on the
yeah.
intersection of Deerwood Drive and Henwick?
That's Community Church, and then the other church on the Hamwell is St. James.
A little
Okay.
further up.
Where they have the voting station.
And I think there's Scout
Scouts.
bottle boxes
Yeah,
there.
the bottle box.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're
Because those are on 2 different
Grids.
circuits.
Yeah. So one, yeah.
Again, where's that, St. John?
St. James.
Where's
So
that?
St. James is on the Hanwell. almost like it's between, say, Brookdale and Birchwood subdivision. So it's past the Schultons.
They're on two different.
It's on this side of the road.
They're still fed from the
Okay.
Yearwood Drive
Yeah.
substation.
Yeah.
There is 2 circuits on the same set of poles for about 20 spans till you get into the back of Deerwood and then Brookdale. And then it separates. But there is, if a tree came down or whatever, it could take both those circuits out.
Right.
But they are technically separate feeds.
Separate beats.
But if you lose the substation, you
lose it all. Yeah.
lose it all.
Okay. That's the end of our concerns. We already did
Okay,
the
yeah, the
12.
emergency response group, we've talked about
Yeah, we
that,
did that.
so I'm clear, got a better picture of how the fan out and all that works.
Okay.
That's that up.
No, we saw that page already.
Yeah, and that needs to be, I don't know if did you get all the Susan Cassidy's and Jason?
Yeah, I'm gonna need probably a few extra.
Numbers and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So if
somebody
anybody
can
has
get those
those, yeah.
to me, how many were missing now?
I can do, we can do another email, just kind of requesting the information.
Yeah, okay, yeah, Susan Cassidy, nothing there. I'm
Just have her email.
Yeah, I should have her email somewhere.
And
but-
Jason's phone number.
Yeah, Susan Cassie's email's there. We just don't have her phone numbers. And Jason Vallis's numbers there, or email's there as well, just no phone numbers. On this sheet here?
Right.
Yeah, yeah, you got them there.
Sherry,
Yeah.
if you.
Oh, I do. Oh, this
Yeah.
is an old one, Ross. You remember?
Sorry.
Yeah, so you have them, we just need phone numbers.
We need a phone number.
Yeah,
Yeah, and Jason's phone number too.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, who would have that? Do you guys
Jason.
have that? Jason?
We'll just
So should
send,
we phone them?
no, just send an email. I need the contact
Yeah.
information for the following people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll just get them to give it to you.
Okay.
Do you know something else I've discovered going through that? Maybe it was committee. No, I know it was in committee rules. If you miss 3 meetings in a row, you're not supposed to be on the committee.
We have new committee policy. So that
Okay,
is
that on your website. That's the committee policy.
the new one that I just put up like last week.
Oh, maybe.
There's a brand new
maybe I looked
committee,
at it.
it's a brand new
Okay.
committee policy.
Okay, so what's it?
Yeah,
are
I
we-
don't think it's the same.
Okay.
It might be you lose voting privileges
Yeah.
or something.
But I'm gonna say this, I think, for the EMO committee, I think Megan needs to provide a personal email as opposed to Hamel email, because you're only here from like 8 to 4. So we should have an email that can
Yeah.
actually, because an emergency, generally, we're probably not gonna be at work, right?
Yep.
And we need to be contacted when we're not at work, and same with Terry, I think I saw.
Well, we can wait.
Huh? So I think we need to change those emails to an actual
What about
email. And we
like
can,
Dave Morrison is the same thing.
all of these counselors, though actually, these counselors have access to their email 24/7. So the EM coordinator would just fan it out to them, and it would be fine, because they would access it. Myself, I don't have.
Hold it.
What-
You said the EM coordinator doesn't contact the counselors.
Sorry, we contact Mayor Morrison, who would then,
Ah,
but Mayor Morrison would have, they all have their laptops and computers with them, so they have access to
What
their
about
email.
Terry? Does she have her own, or does she just, she seems to answer emails every
She
time
answers,
it's
she
day or
does,
night,
she
so-
does, so she's probably fine, but I think with Megan and I think we need to have our,
Okay.
And I put mine in there.
Yours
Yours
is
is
there.
there.
I
So
put
we
mine
need
there.
yours, Megan, if you can send it
Yeah,
along.
I will do that.
just because we're not
we're
on the
not-
computer.
What is between Sherry, Lynn, and John? Is it a lower?
It's a underscore.
Dash?
Underscore.
Okay, yeah, because I wasn't able to,
Yeah.
because it's all underlined, so it's hard
Yeah,
to-
you can't really see it, but it's an underscore.
So, just the other thing is, this is going to be online, right?
That's fine.
That means all those emails are online.
They just have to agree.
You know what we can do though?
We could
You can
redact.
Technically, we can, nobody need, like anything that we don't want the public to see, we can redact. We can have it blacked out because they don't need to have this information. There's absolutely, all the public needs are pages,
Yeah.
really, pages 1 to, like, minus this. Like, and we can redact that, we can, yeah.
And this could just be for us.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, like, we can even move this to the end of the plan, and then, like, or put it as appendix C, or whatever, however you wanna do it, or I'll just go on and I have a redacting tool in my Adobe, and I will just redact all of the numbers and emails, Because I don't really necessarily want my personal information out there
No,
either.
No,
I prefer
I
not
think it
to.
would-
Right? So,
It'd be nice for us to have it in the body of the document, to get it straight there. This is the meat, this is the center of the document, really, right here, as opposed to an appendix. We could put it either.
we can put it in there and I will
But
just
we do have
redact
to
it.
redact it.
I will redact all the personal information over there.
If it's on the website, but if it's for us.
No, for here, for each person on the committee and for our actual binder, that we have this policy signed by council, it will be not redacted. However, once it gets posted, I'm gonna make sure all that information's over there.
Right.
Names will stay, but emails and phone
Well,
numbers
they
will
don't,
go.
and they don't need that stuff anyway.
No. So, yeah,
Okay,
So,
I'm gonna make a note of that.
one pen.
Do you have to redact the counselors, because it's public
Nope,
knowledge?
all their numbers and stuff are public. Anything that's there is what they've listed for the public to call. Okay,
okay, so I think we've gone through all the points that we've gone through. I guess where we're at now is we just want to firm up the direction we're going to take over the next little while here.
okay.
Do we have the green light to give Dan a call and meet with him? About, he wanted to meet with us, do I understand that, Ross? But we kind of,
Okay,
we didn't.
I
want to do
called
that.
him on that sample
Yeah.
decoration, because we were having discussions over, Chris and I, like what does that refer to? Which bylaw is that one referring to? Because it was confusing.
Right,
And if it's confusing to us, we don't want to have that argument in this room.
right.
So I asked him I said, look, can you send me a sample? And then we can look at it. Charlotte County or, St. Andrews declared a state of emergency 2 months ago.
Yep,
Can you send me theirs, redact whatever you want, but I just want it as a sample for the mayor to send to you guys as a state of emergency. Well, we got into a big long argument, not argument, well, no, I don't want to send, I don't know if I got a current one, and I'm thinking, it's only a sample, like it's nothing. And then he said, well, I got your plan here. I said, what? He said, I got your plan here. So, I was confused.
And didn't he
Yeah.
go on to say, well, I'd like to meet with you guys?
Yeah, he said,
Huh?
I'm ready to meet, I'd like to meet you guys, and we can discuss this whole plan and everything else.
but
I said, we're not ready.
okay, but if you think we're at the point of being ready,
Well,
We're probably,
because if he comes to talk next month, which is good, we're not gonna get a lot accomplished between now and then, and if we can, if he's got some if he's got it, okay, fair enough, he's got it. If he's got concerns, tell us what they are, so that we can clean it up, bring it to the meeting, and then we'll be in pretty good shape by the time
Yeah.
the meeting occurs. We've got all kinds of notes here on what we talked about tonight. We can clean it up based on a discussion with him, and at the next meeting, we should have a document that's maybe not done, but it'd be pretty darn close. And, almost mission accomplished.
yeah.
I mean, I don't wanna get ahead, if you don't feel that we should meet with them,
No, I don't mind you meeting with them. I do think, though, we should be meeting with them as a committee,
we should meet him as a
as a
committee.
committee, yeah.
Can we email him and say, if you've got concerns,
Absolutely, you can, yeah, just,
you please, and I hope he doesn't come and say, this is gonna tear it all apart.
Oh,
and
he-
use
no,
his
he-
template.
no, because he already, like, generally the plan itself is a good plan, it was a good plan.
Yeah.
It just, there was a lot, like, it was a lot of, yes, we know that, a lot of repetition stuff, but it still had a good, solid plan. Like,
Right.
if 6 months ago, we had something happen, we probably could have been, we wouldn't have followed it, it would have been fine, right? So he's not gonna have, I don't think, a lot of changes, he may have a little bit of input, but I do think we should meet him as a committee and go through go through whatever changes are made, and I don't think I have an issue with you talking to him, I think you can. If he wants to meet with you, then, but I do think we should still meet with him as a committee.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
and
Yeah.
and maybe at that time, if everything is in order, whatever changes we make, he can then say, they're prepared to sign off on it.
Or just talk to us, yeah, and explain to us like what we're missing, what we, yeah, I think we do need to meet him as a committee.
My concern is that we leave this meeting and we've got lots of notes and now we've got some good direction on where we're gonna go here. And we do all that work and then we get to the meeting.
And he
And he says, no, you gotta back up and you gotta come forward again, and we've wasted a month. But if we work on this and then send him something in a couple of weeks here.
I don't have any problem with that.
And say, here's where we're at, can you come to the meeting prepared to talk about this?
Absolutely, that's fine, and then you'll have the document, and he can take the document and put any input that he has on it. Absolutely, yeah.
I think, right?
That's a good idea, actually.
I think that's totally fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we meet as a committee, he's prepared to come next meeting, and he'll have the document.
He'll have the most current version, which maybe might take a couple of weeks to get beat into shape.
Oh, that's more than, yeah.
Yeah, no, I can't make it to the next meeting if it's the 21st or the 20th.
It's the fourth, whatever the fourth Wednesday is.
23rd.
I can't make it that week.
Oh, we'll miss you.
We'll probably get through it quicker.
I'm not gonna make any comments. Yeah, it will be the 23rd, yeah.
Okay, so I do have a couple questions.
Okay,
Page 18,
page 18.
yeah, item number 16.
You know what, I've timed out again.
It's fine here. Yeah, it likes to sleep. Never sleeps on me though. I'm always busy on it.
Oh, yeah, you're always on it.
Yeah, you must stay
I'm always busy on it. Never times out through the day. There you go.
Okay, so right down near the bottom there on number 16, we wrote in clerical updates, for example, phone number changes do not require council approval. However, such edits were recorded as modifications
Well, so
instead
that-
of amendments.
Okay, so that was something that was added.
We added that.
You added that?
Yeah, we added that, we're kind of
Perfect.
ahead of the
Yeah.
conversation a little
So
bit.
I'm just gonna circle that.
And we're gonna change instead of amendments, we'll say modifications.
Yep, and then I'm just gonna confirm with Terry just to make sure that seems like it's something that's doable.
The next page. Where's the next page? 18, right here. No, sorry, 2 more pages.
So
Number
21 or 20?
20,
Okay,
item number 19.
yep.
If communication service is interrupted, Hanwell has 4 VHF radios. that can
We
be
don't have
dialed.
radios.
Okay.
Right, so what do you want us to put down in there?
Was that on there? Was that listed there?
That was there before.
Well, yeah, there was a reference
Yeah,
in
it
there
was you guys,
before.
the reference before said, we are getting 4 radios.
We are getting. So I think, Megan, we were dealing with the repeater, remember?
Yep.
Do you know anything about
And then
that?
status of the repeater is the next question.
There's no radios, no repeater. Is that what we're?
Yeah.
You mean the part where they're getting them installed this
Yeah,
summer?
or something.
It's sometime over this summer because the guy that does it is in school.
Okay.
So, and he's here in Hanwell.
So we'll have Megan touch base with who we need to speak with that. And we'll
can do
kind of
that
get
tomorrow.
and we'll get like a for the repeater anyway.
Yeah.
So we need something like that, something filled in
Is
there.
that repeater for what system though? What?
What's that for? The radio?
Radios.
I mean,
I think so.
Repeater radio club?
Yeah. No,
Ham radio club?
Camo, what's it for?
it was, what was it, the Amateur Radio Club?
I think so, yeah.
Because they did their training there a few weeks ago. And then when he came to drop off the key, he said that there was a guy that was gonna come and install the,
okay, that's very specific to those amateur radio guys. That's,
It's not UHF.
it's not,
So UHF, so fire department has UHF. So what we'll have to do, huh?
We'll just take it out.
We might, yeah, I would say take it out for
I would
now,
just
because
take
we don't
it
have
out.
radios.
Yeah.
no.
We don't have radios, so
And
take
the-
that
And
out.
the repeater would be.
Just take it out too.
Kind of irrelevant. I mean, I think it's enough to say the amateur radio operators and community offered services.
Yeah.
That would just enhance their service.
It is,
If they
yeah.
had it. But I don't think it's worth stating that.
Take it out.
Yeah, just take that.
Yeah, I agree, take that
and I
out.
don't even think, the guy that's gonna come install the radios, I don't know if he's even affiliated with
No,
these guys.
exactly.
They just know each
Yeah,
other.
so just take it out.
Yeah.
Okay, so item number 22 on page 21.
Yep. Item 22 on page 21.
Yeah, Hanwell does not have a formal agreement with Canadian Red Cross at this time, but we'll look into it in the near
I
future.
think I answered your question when you emailed me, I said they did.
Yeah, but I forget what it is.
Yes.
Yeah, you're saying
we
do. or-
We do have an agreement with Red Cross.
All right, so
So we have a
We take
formal
out the
agreement
word
with Red
not?
Cross.
Pardon?
we take out the word not.
Yes. You can take out the word not. And you can take out what we'll look at into the new
Just
future.
say Hanwell has a formal agreement with the CRC, keep it simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever that agreement is.
You don't need to know what the agreement is, but.
Okay,
You're looking for all the yellow, aren't you?
yeah, I don't know if there's anything else, Chris.
That boil, that's,
Sure,
we'll
we'll
just
find
take
it.
that thing and go
Just-
birch wood.
Yeah, just leave the,
Presenting this to council, you're gonna give all the blue and the yellow and the green?
no,
No.
we need to present them a signable document. There'll be nothing blue, there'll be
That's
nothing,
perfect. So all that stuff disappears.
it's,
You get this document, and they might have the old document, and if they want to compare it, they can.
They'd have a hard time doing it. Yeah,
what we,
they
what we,
could,
what we would do is I would present them with a signable document, but we could also give them this document with the changes that you've made so that they can confer
Well,
what's done.
Chris will be changing
Well, that's-
the date on that too.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine, and it's gonna be an even more updated version than we currently have,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So they would be provided with both, they can take a look at it, and they may decide that, you know what, no, take it back, or want it more, so it just depends.
Yeah. Owned by the problem.
Yes.
I don't know if there was anything else.
No, I think we're pretty good to go ahead here. and
I just didn't bring
We
it.
can make some use of the next month here.
Those are great, those are great changes.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
It's pretty
No,
rough
no, I
right
just
now,
wanna
but
make sure
I
you
think
have
we'll
it.
get
Oh,
there.
I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, it's, just glad we could do it.
Good job.
Yeah, really good
Wow.
job.
and I do think if anybody had any major concerns, you would have been notified,
The guy was here.
like you would have been contacted.
Yeah, sure, well, there you go, I mean, maybe that says something good. so.
Yeah.
I just keep figuring any questions I had to
So-
see.
The one-
So are we, okay, I'm just gonna stop everyone, so are we done the meeting, because if not, it's kind of
Wait, and when is the next meeting? The fourth
the
Wednesday?
23rd of August.
23rd.
So I did find this.
Okay,
And 211 does all this stuff. Non-emergency police number, food banks, walk-in clinics, Alzheimer's support, mental health, meals on wheels,
Perfect.
emergency shelters, and on and on and on.
perfect, awesome,
And then it's got call 911 for,
That could be another
Emergencies.
social media post too.
yeah, could be.
I mean, they're just announcing that now.
Okay, so do we have anything else to discuss? Are we good for tonight?
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
So I'm gonna close the meeting at 7:33.